Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons and the 2024 film The Last Showgirl, starring Pamela Anderson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Billy Lord, and Dave Bautista, and Kiernan Shipka. Brilliant film and a lot to think about for Dungeon Masters and Dragon Masters. All right, so there are spoilers for the 2024 Last Showgirl here. But I think there's a lot to think about for every Dungeon Master to think about. So Pamela Anderson plays the last showgirl, and so she is a woman who has been in a Las Vegas showgirl spectacle called the Razzle Dazzle. At one point, I think it says La Razzle Dazzle, and the idea is it came from this French spectacle. And throughout the whole movie, Pamela Anderson keeps saying, this is Parisian, this is culture, this is art. Now, the thing is, most of them are nude or close to nude. That was a little difficult to understand. I think they said they were nude, but I don't think they were actually nude. I think they were covered up, but it was so skimpy and so painted on that essentially they look naked, right? And that's the entire question: is what is the razzle dazzle, right? And so Pamela Anderson's daughter, after 30 years, comes to see her show, right? And when it's done, her daughter's like, "You guys are just dancing in the nude. You're just dancing up there nude, right?" And so I guess they were nude. I don't think they showed that in the film. And so she's like, this is what you sacrificed my childhood for. And it comes clear that Pamela Anderson, to be in this show for 30 years, one of the things she did from when her daughter was 7 to 12, one of the things she was doing was she was putting her in the parking lot with a Game Boy for 2 shows a night, right? And so really, the person who facilitated her career was her child, right? She sacrificed her child's childhood. She sacrificed a percentage of her child's childhood to continue to do this, right? And her daughter's like, this is just she said it differently, but I think she's just saying, this is a stripper show, right? You pretend you're not a stripper, but this is just strippers with more money on the costumes and the pole's gone. But this is a stripper show. This is, you call it an artistic, cultured spectacle. I call it a stripper show, right? And this is what you sacrificed my childhood for. And so then there comes this question: what is and then Pamela Anderson's answer back is no, you don't understand, right? At one point we had 180 people on stage. At one point, all these showgirls, we were flown all over the world, right? We did promotions for the show, right? I bought a house off of what we have here, right? And you're right, I didn't spend a lot of time with you, but you always had a roof over your head, and you always had food in your mouth, right? And you always went to school, right? And so she's and then more than that, she's saying, I was empowered. I felt great when I was on. This is the best thing I've ever done. This is my art. This is me dancing. This is me doing what I love. This is me being empowered. The La Razzle Dazzle is important and good and spectacular and world class, right? And so there's this fight, right? There's this fight over the thing, right? What is it? Is it a nudie show, right? Or is it a cultural success, right? And that's exactly where we are with Dungeons and Dragons, right? So if you ask some bog standard NFL fan, they're going to say, oh, you guys, we've heard it a million times. Oh, you sit in your mom's basement and you pretend to be an elf. No, no. Step back. Here's what's actually happening. We are, more than any human beings ever, we are dealing with narrative differently. We're dealing with identity differently. And we are actually using identity to combat our deficiencies, explore ourselves and every other human on this planet, and interact in a way that humans have never interacted before. Manifold sentience, right? What does it mean if one person has 30 sets of memory, 30 sets of sensation? What does it mean if somebody can switch out skill sets and languages and emotions based on the amount of identities they hold within themselves? That's never been possible. Like, did Dungeons and Dragons create a new intellectual, emotional, spiritual creature that is beyond human? I think the answer is yes. I really do. Like, I don't think people who fully understand Dungeons and Dragons function as normal humans. I think there's something beyond. That's D&D Beyond, in my humble opinion. Like, pushing beyond normal humanity, no longer being bound to narrative limitations, no longer being bound to intellectual, emotional, and spiritual limitations, right? Like, and so there's this fight over the thing. What is the thing? What is the thing? What is the thing? Right? And I say it's more than anybody on this planet currently understands. Others say it's nothing. It's nothing. It's make-believe, and it's pretend, and it's cowboys and Indians, right? Like, it's nothing, right? And I'm saying, no, on the secular side, it's everything. It is everything, right? And so from that perspective, you have to see this, right? Like, you have to see somebody dealing with the same issues we're dealing with, but just at a remove. And the remove is the razzle-dazzle is Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is the razzle-dazzle. But the question is still there, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.